In the year of our Lord 2019, there was 2 detective games starring Greg Chun, released only months apart from each other. And it was a complete coincidence that both of those games had very eye-related mysteries. Those 2 games are, of course, Judgment, also known as Judge Eyes from RGG Studios, and The Somnium Files.
The left eye socket is vacant.
Of course not.
Seeing that curtain made me think about it.
The usual. Are you finished?
Do you understand the gravity of this situation?
You probably haven't played The Somnium Files, and that has to change. So is a visual novel detective game where you solve puzzles by going into people's dreams and really feeling out their psyche, seeing what they really feel underneath the surface. It was released in late 2019, published by Spike Chunsoft, and written by the mad lad himself, Kotaro Uchikoshi. And if you don't know who that is, you might want to do a little research. So yes, the creator of the Zero Escape series. In early 2019, I played Zero Escape 999 for the first time, and it became one of my favorite games I've ever played. So when I learned that a new visual novel by the same writer was coming out later that year, I was hyped. I knew nothing about the game, didn't look up shit. I just pre-ordered the limited edition, dropped 90 bones without knowing anything, started it on release day, and it's amazing. It's so good. Now, although I didn't really look at the trailers, there was a lot of build-up for this game. The character Iris Sagan is a live streamer, basically a Twitch streamer, and in the lead-up to the game, they actually had her as a VTuber in English and Japanese. This was about a year before VTubers really took off in the West. All we really had was Kizuna Ai back then. So this game is fucking wild. It follows Kaname Date and his partner Aiba, who lives in his eyeball because she is an AI ball, and Mr. Date over here only got one eye. He is a detective working under the group Abyss, and a new mystery is afoot. That mystery being the Cyclops killer case, where some dude is going around fucking axing dudes and then removing their left eye with an ice pick. Whew, it's kinda gruesome. To solve these murders, you do very normal detective game stuff like going to witnesses, asking tons and tons of questions, collecting evidence, using said evidence to ask more questions, and talking to so many eclectic characters. Now, why should you play over any other detective game? Any other detective visual novel, even? There's so many great characters. Aiba and Date have a fantastic dynamic. Iris is peak gamer girl. Hitomi is just peak. Ota is a fucking sim. Mizuki is super based and inexplicably has superhuman strength for some reason. There's Boss, who is... Now, that's super basic. There's so much to these characters. This is a long game. Every character has issues that they need to work out throughout the game, and that you as the player directly help them with. They all get wrapped up into this murder case, and a lot of shit goes down. A lot of pretty bad shit. Like, sometimes you'll meet a character, and then they just fucking die. But they might not always stay dead. This game has multiple timelines, multiple endings, and you have to play through everything. You're not really going to miss anything if you do a full, complete playthrough. So don't worry. Throughout all the endings, you learn about each individual character, everyone gets a satisfying arc, and you make your way towards the true and definitive ending, with all the knowledge you've accrued through all the previous endings. This is a staple of Uchikoshi's work. He's done this in a lot of things before. And then there are some joke endings as well. There's one ending where Date just decides to fuck off to an island with this one chick at the desk. And like I said before, the writing is immaculate. Not just the story, which is insane, but just in the little things. There is so much product displacement in this game. Now, if you don't know what that is, product displacement is when they use a company, but they don't actually use the real name. So for example, instead of Twitter, they use Twitter. Instead of Minecraft, they play Shovel Forge. But then they start getting really creative with it. Like, the Japanese messenger app Line is called Nile. It's just an anagram. That's so unique. Speaking of unique, the puzzles in this game get wild. So you're going into people's dreams, syncing with them in this big fucking device thing. Now, as dreams are, they don't really make sense. So you have to do a lot of out-of-the-box thinking to get the answers you're looking for. And there's tons of heart to it. So many little charming events, so many little jokes, things you can miss, things that will actively ruin your run if you see, but they're fun anyways, making you want to fail and retry, just to see everything that the sync has to offer. This is called diving into Somnium. Now, while you're in Somnium, you only have 6 minutes to complete the puzzle. But don't worry, you're not on a strict 6-minute time limit. The clock counts down extremely slowly while you're standing still, and then moves faster as you move. Interacting with an item takes no time at all. But when you select what you're going to do to that item, that takes time. Later on, after each decision, you'll be given something called a timey, which allows you to cut down the time that each individual action will take. And later on in the game, these become absolutely necessary. It's very good at controlling your stress while you see some of the pretty messed up stuff that happens in these puzzle rooms. There's this one honestly terrifying segment where you're in the woods and it's dark, and I can't really spoil what's happening because it's very important, but you have the absolute minimum amount of time to complete the puzzle. And man, that is gameplay and story integration if I've ever seen it. There are even QuickTime event segments and weird like shooter segments, but they're not really shooter segments. You just kind of point and click and then do another QuickTime event. But they're fun, they change up the pace, they keep you on their toes, they keep you engaged in the story, and really that's what it's about. It is first and foremost a story-driven and story-rich experience. Looking back on it, there's so many incredible moments, incredible puzzles, incredible characters, incredible jokes. There's even a Minecraft puzzle. And the ending. It's so full of life and passion. I really can't spoil it. You have to play the game for yourself. There's so many twists and turns. If I tried to actually explain what was happening, I'd be here all day. But I will tell you that the game ends with a full song and dance. It even got a sequel that just released this year in 2022. The build up to this game was awesome. Spike Chunsoft's Twitter just released like this cryptic image with a bunch of eyeballs, and they had like this cryptic ass website, and it all led up to the announcement of the Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. And of course, I pre-ordered immediately, got the special edition. It was a little more expensive, but you get what you pay for because it came with an original Papa Parade Aiba figure. Now, I've only just started the game, and it's even longer than the first one, so I won't have a full review ready anytime soon, if I ever decide to make one, that is. But I'll talk about it a little. So the character Mizuki is now older, and she's basically the main character. But there's a twist. There's another main character. His name is Ryuki. And this game covers the half-body murder case, where half of a human body shows up. Just shows up. Yeah, they got a little more gruesome this time. And you follow Mizuki and Ryuki 6 years apart from each other. Ryuki's sections of the story take place 1 year after the first game, and Mizuki's sections take place 6 years after that. As far as I know, who you play as is decided on one of the first Somnium puzzles, and I ended up on the Ryuki route. So in the Mizuki side, in present day, Ryuki is fucked up. He's mentally scarred, traumatized. You can't really get anything out of him. He's always at a bar drinking himself silly. Now that's some intrigue, my guy. At some point, it's stated that in the original half-body murder case 6 years ago, Mizuki lost her eye, and now she is partnered up with Aiba. But Ryuki also has an Aiba counterpart called Tama. Tama is like a Halloween costume sexy Aiba variant. The first game's protagonist, Date, has been in the background for everything that I've played, but I'm assuming there's gonna be some pretty shocking stuff that happens with him, especially with some spoiler stuff that I can't really talk about. So I'm expecting more puzzles, more insane revelations, more QuickTime events, more nonsensical solutions, more banter between partners, more dancing, more idols, more horrible, horrible tragedy, and another great game from Kotaro Uchikoshi. So if you're looking to spice up your gaming rotation, I highly recommend you play the Somnium Files. It is one of the best and most unique games I have played in the past couple years. As always, I've been Protagonist. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell icon. A set, you bet. Peace.